Welcome back to the second part of our journey toward transformation. In the previous video, we explored 6 powerful habits to help you reclaim control of your life, letting go of comparisons, silencing distractions, and striving for excellence, to name a few. These foundational principles are the stepping stones to living with purpose and intention, but the journey doesn't end there. In this video, we're diving even deeper with the final 6 habits. Habits that will challenge you to overcome procrastination, embrace change, and find freedom from toxic relationships. These principles are designed to help you break free from limitations and step boldly into the life you deserve. Think of these habits as tools to navigate life's challenges with strength and clarity. Whether it's overcoming the fear of failure or learning to let go of the past, each habit is a key to unlocking a new level of personal growth. So, are you ready to take the next step? Stay with us as we uncover the final 6 habits that will empower you to thrive in 2025 and beyond. Let's get started. 7. Break free from procrastination. Act now, not later. Procrastination is one of the most common habits that hold people back from realizing their potential. You tell yourself you'll start tomorrow, or next week, or when you feel ready. But the reality is, the longer you wait, the harder it becomes to act. Procrastination feeds on itself, creating a cycle of inaction and regret. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, warned against this habit when he said, "You must build your life action by action, and be content if each one achieves its goal as far as possible." In other words, waiting for the perfect moment or mood to strike is a trap. Real progress comes from consistently taking action, no matter how small the steps may seem. At its core, procrastination often stems from fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, or even fear of success can make us avoid starting tasks that matter. It's easier to delay and distract ourselves than to face the discomfort of beginning something challenging. For example, you put off starting a new project at work because you're worried it won't be good enough. You delay organizing your finances because it feels overwhelming to confront your spending habits. You avoid exercising because you're afraid of how far you've let yourself slip. The problem is, the longer you wait, the more daunting these tasks appear. Procrastination doesn't solve the problem, it magnifies it. The secret to overcoming procrastination is simple. Start, no matter how imperfectly. Even the smallest action can break the cycle of delay and create momentum. Think of it like pushing a boulder. The first push might feel impossible, but once the boulder starts rolling, it becomes easier to keep it moving. This is the power of action. It generates its own energy. Here's how you can start small. If you've been avoiding a big report, write 1 sentence. If you want to exercise but feel unmotivated, do 5 push-ups. If cleaning your home feels overwhelming, start with 1 drawer or corner of a room. These small wins create a sense of accomplishment, encouraging you to take the next step. One of the biggest misconceptions about procrastination is that you need motivation to act. In truth, action often comes before motivation. Once you begin a task, even reluctantly, your brain shifts into problem-solving mode, making it easier to continue. For instance, think about a time when you dreaded starting something, perhaps studying for an exam or cleaning the house. Once you pushed past the initial resistance and got started, it probably wasn't as bad as you imagined. This is because starting eliminates the mental barriers that procrastination builds. If you're ready to break free from procrastination, here's a simple 3-step plan. 1. Identify the task. Be specific about what you need to do. Instead of saying, "I need to work out," say, "I will do 10 minutes of yoga." 2. Set a timer. Use a timer to work in short bursts, like 10 or 15 minutes. This reduces the pressure to commit to hours of effort and makes starting less intimidating. 3. Celebrate small wins. After completing even a tiny portion of the task, acknowledge your progress. Success builds momentum. A major reason people procrastinate is the fear of failure. But failure is not the enemy, it's a teacher. Every mistake you make provides valuable feedback that brings you closer to success. Take Thomas Edison as an example. When asked about his numerous failed attempts to create the light bulb, he famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." This mindset reframes failure as progress, making it easier to take action without fear. Choose one thing you've been procrastinating on and commit to starting it today. Don't overthink it, just take the smallest possible action. If it's writing a paper, open your laptop and type a single sentence. If it's exercising, put on your workout clothes and do one squat. Once you've started, reflect on how it feels. You'll likely find that the act of beginning is far less intimidating than the act of avoiding. Procrastination is a thief of time and opportunity, but it doesn't have to control you. By embracing action, no matter how small, you reclaim your power and set yourself on a path to progress. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. So, what are you waiting for? Start now. Even the smallest step forward is a step toward the life you want to create. The future is shaped not by what you plan to do, but by what you actually do. Will you take that first step today? 8. Let go of the past. Embrace the present to shape the future. We often hold on to the past as if clinging to it will somehow change what has already happened. Whether it's a mistake you made, an opportunity you missed, or a hurt you suffered, the weight of yesterday can feel impossible to put down. But here's the reality: the past is beyond your control, and holding on to it only prevents you from moving forward. Marcus Aurelius offered timeless wisdom on this. You have power over your mind, not external events. Realize this, and you will find strength. The events of the past are outside your influence now, but your mindset and how you respond in the present are entirely up to you. Holding on to the past often feels like carrying a heavy chain. It drags behind you, slowing your progress and keeping you tethered to pain or regret. For example, you might dwell on a failed relationship, replaying what went wrong instead of focusing on the lessons it taught you. You might regret a decision that led to unforeseen consequences, wishing you could rewrite the story. You might hold on to anger towards someone who hurt you, allowing that resentment to color your present relationships. While these feelings are natural, they can become obstacles if you let them dominate your thoughts. The longer you cling to the past, the harder it becomes to see the opportunities and beauty of the present moment. Letting go of the past doesn't mean forgetting or dismissing what happened. It means making peace with it. Every experience, no matter how painful or disappointing, has something to teach you. When you shift your focus from regret to growth, the past becomes a stepping stone rather than a stumbling block. Think about it. A sailor can't navigate the seas while staring at the wake behind their boat. They must focus on the horizon ahead, using the lessons of past voyages to guide their course. The same applies to life. The most empowering way to let go of the past is to extract meaning from it. Ask yourself, what did this experience teach me about myself? How can I use this lesson to make better choices in the future? What strengths did I develop because of this challenge? For instance, if you failed at a project, it's not the end of the story. Maybe the experience taught you the value of preparation or showed you the importance of asking for help. By reframing your perspective, the past becomes a source of wisdom rather than regret. Letting go is not an overnight process, but small, consistent steps can help you break free from the past. 1. Accept what you can't change. Acknowledge that no amount of rumination will alter what happened. Focus instead on what you can control, your actions moving forward. 2. Forgive yourself and others. Holding on to guilt or resentment only hurts you. Forgiveness doesn't mean condoning the actions, it means freeing yourself from their grip. 3. Focus on the present. Practice mindfulness to anchor yourself in the here and now. Activities like meditation, journaling, or even a walk in nature can help you reconnect with the present. 4. Set future goals. Shift your energy toward creating the life you want. The more you focus on your aspirations, the less power the past holds over you. Consider the story of a sculptor working on a block of marble. Every chip and strike removes unnecessary material, revealing the masterpiece within. In the same way, letting go of the past allows you to shape your life into something beautiful and meaningful. When you stop holding on to what no longer serves you, you make room for growth, joy, and possibilities. This week, identify one memory or regret that's been holding you back. Write it down in as much detail as you need, then reflect on what it has taught you. Afterward, make a symbolic act of release. Tear up the paper, burn it safely, or simply set it aside. Then commit to focusing on the present moment. Ask yourself, What can I do today to move closer to the life I want? The past is a chapter that has already been written. You can revisit it for lessons, but don't let it dictate the rest of your story. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, do not let the past consume you. The present is all you truly possess. By letting go of what was, you free yourself to embrace what is and what could be. So what are you still carrying that you're ready to release? Today is the perfect time to set it down and step boldly into your future. 9. Stop seeking validation. Define your worth from within. In a world dominated by likes, shares, and external recognition, it's easy to fall into the trap of seeking validation from others, whether it's a compliment from a friend, approval from a boss, or admiration from social media followers. We often let outside opinions dictate how we see ourselves. But here's a liberating truth. Your worth is not defined by what others think of you. It's rooted in who you are and how you show up for yourself. The constant chase for validation is exhausting and futile. It places your happiness and self-esteem in the hands of others, people whose opinions can change in an instant or are shaped by their own insecurities. Instead of looking outward for approval, look inward and cultivate a sense of self-worth that is unshakable. Relying on external validation might feel good in the moment, but it's a fleeting sense of satisfaction. Like a cup with a hole at the bottom, no amount of praise or recognition can fill it permanently. For example, you might work overtime to impress your boss, only to feel overlooked when the recognition doesn't come. You might post a carefully curated photo on social media, but the likes and comments never feel like enough. You might avoid expressing your true feelings in a relationship, fearing judgment or rejection. The problem with this dependence is that it shifts your focus away from what truly matters: your own values, goals, and happiness. When you stop seeking validation from others, you regain control over your sense of self-worth. Instead of waiting for someone to approve of your choices, you learn to trust your instincts and honor your values. Self-validation is about recognizing your own progress, celebrating your achievements, and accepting your imperfections. It's about saying, I am enough, regardless of what anyone else thinks. Developing self-worth from within requires intention and practice. Here are some strategies to help you get started. 1. Define your values. Ask yourself what truly matters to you. When your actions align with your values, you'll feel more confident and less reliant on others' opinions. 2. Celebrate small wins. Acknowledge your achievements, no matter how minor they seem. Did you complete a task today? Overcome a fear? Take a step toward your goal? Celebrate it. 3. Set boundaries. Don't overextend yourself just to gain approval. Learn to say no to things that don't align with your values or drain your energy. Practice gratitude. Focus on the positive aspects of your life and what you've accomplished, rather than seeking external affirmation. Criticism can be particularly challenging when you're trying to let go of external validation. But not all criticism is harmful. Constructive feedback can help you grow, while unwarranted criticism reflects more about the critic than about you. For example, if a mentor offers suggestions for improvement, view it as an opportunity to refine your skills. If someone judges you unfairly or harshly, recognize that their words often stem from their own insecurities. As Eleanor Roosevelt said, no one can make you feel inferior without your consent. Consider an artist who creates for the love of their craft rather than the approval of an audience. They focus on expressing their vision, knowing that not everyone will appreciate it. This mindset allows them to take risks, innovate, and stay true to themselves. Over time, this authenticity resonates with others and their work finds its audience. Not because it sought approval, but because it was created with integrity. This week, take a moment each day to recognize something you're proud of. It could be completing a small task, practicing kindness, or sticking to a commitment. Write it down and reflect on how it made you feel. At the same time, practice saying no to something that doesn't align with your values, even if you fear disappointing others. Notice how freeing it feels to prioritize yourself. Seeking validation from others is like chasing a mirage. It promises fulfillment, but never truly delivers. By turning inward and defining your worth from within, you free yourself from the constant need for approval and discover the strength to live authentically. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, it is not what others say about you that defines you, but what you believe about yourself. So ask yourself, who do you want to be, and how will you honor that today? The only validation you need is your own. Make it count. 10. Embrace change instead of avoiding it. Change is one of life's few constants, yet many of us resist it with everything we have. We cling to routines, relationships, and familiar patterns, even when they no longer serve us. Why? Because change feels uncertain. It pushes us out of our comfort zones and forces us to confront the unknown. But here's the paradox. Growth and fulfillment only happen when we embrace change. Marcus Aurelius said it best. Observe how all things are constantly changing, and understand that this is the nature of the universe. Resisting change is like trying to stop the tide. It's an impossible battle. By accepting and adapting to change, we learn to flow with life rather than fight against it. Fear of change often stems from a desire for control. The familiar, even when it's unfulfilling, feels safer than the unknown. For example, you might stay in a job you dislike because you fear starting over in a new role. You might avoid ending a toxic relationship because the thought of being alone feels more daunting than staying. You might resist moving to a new city or pursuing a different path because it disrupts the routine you've built. This fear is natural, but it's also limiting. When we avoid change, we miss out on opportunities for growth, new experiences, and the chance to build a better version of ourselves. Think of change as a muscle. The more you engage with it, the stronger and more resilient you become. People who embrace change tend to be more adaptable, creative, and confident in the face of life's challenges. Consider nature as an example. Trees bend with the wind to avoid breaking, rivers carve new paths when faced with obstacles, and seasons transform the landscape, ensuring growth and renewal. Change is what keeps life vibrant and dynamic. How to embrace change in your life. 1. Reframe change as an opportunity. Instead of viewing change as a loss, see it as a chance to learn and grow. Ask yourself, what can this teach me? Or, how can this improve my life? 2. Start small. If big changes feel overwhelming, begin with smaller shifts. Rearrange your workspace, try a new hobby, or introduce a new habit into your routine. 3. Practice adaptability. When unexpected changes occur, focus on what you can control, your mindset and your response. This helps you feel empowered rather than defeated. 4. Seek support. Share your feelings about change with trusted friends or mentors. Their perspective can provide reassurance and clarity. Consider the story of someone who decided to leave a long-standing but unfulfilling career. The decision was terrifying. They had spent years building their reputation and network in that field. But deep down, they knew it was no longer aligned with their passions. At first, the transition was rocky. They faced self-doubt, financial uncertainty, and moments of regret. But with each step, they discovered new strengths and opportunities. Years later, they looked back and realized that embracing change had been the best decision of their life. This story is a reminder that while change often feels risky in the moment, it's what allows us to create the lives we truly want. This week, choose one area of your life where you've been resisting change. Maybe it's a habit you've outgrown, a decision you've been delaying, or a new opportunity you've been hesitant to explore. Take one small step toward embracing that change. Reflect on how it feels, uncomfortable perhaps, but also liberating. Change doesn't have to happen all at once. It's the small, intentional actions that pave the way for transformation. Life is in constant motion, and so are we. Resisting change doesn't stop it. It only makes the transition harder. By learning to embrace change, you unlock a world of possibilities and growth. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, loss is nothing else but change, and change is nature's delight. Rather than fearing change, see it as an invitation to evolve. Ask yourself, what opportunities for growth are waiting on the other side of the changes you fear? Step into them with courage and watch as your life begins to transform. 11. Cut ties with toxic relationships. We often hear that we should treasure our relationships, but not all connections are worth holding on to. Some people bring negativity, judgment, and manipulation into your life, draining your energy and self-worth. Marcus Aurelius taught us the importance of protecting our inner peace. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This wisdom applies to relationships as well. While it can be difficult to distance yourself from someone, especially if they're a friend or family member, protecting your peace is not selfish. It's essential. Toxic relationships often leave you feeling emotionally drained, unappreciated, or even diminished. These people may constantly criticize or belittle you, manipulate situations to make you feel guilty or obligated, show a lack of respect for your boundaries, bring chaos and drama into your life without taking responsibility for their actions. Imagine a close friend who always makes subtle digs about your achievements, disguising their jealousy as teasing, or a family member who only reaches out when they need something, ignoring your needs entirely. These relationships can erode your confidence and leave you questioning your worth. Staying in toxic relationships comes at a significant emotional cost. Over time, they can undermine your self-esteem, making it harder to trust yourself and others, create constant stress and anxiety, impacting your mental and physical health, distract you from nurturing healthy relationships that bring joy and support. As painful as it might feel, letting go of these connections is often the best thing you can do for yourself. Ending toxic relationships doesn't have to be dramatic or confrontational. Here's how to approach it thoughtfully. 1. Set boundaries. Begin by establishing clear limits. Communicate your needs and stick to them. Toxic individuals often test these boundaries, but standing firm is key. 2. Reduce contact. Gradually limit your interactions with the person. This allows you to create distance without escalating conflict. 3. Seek support. Surround yourself with people who uplift and support you. Share your feelings with trusted friends or a counselor for guidance and reassurance. 4. Let go of guilt. Remember, prioritizing your well-being is not selfish. You are not responsible for fixing or tolerating someone else's harmful behavior. Once you cut ties with toxic individuals, you'll feel an immense sense of relief and clarity. Letting go opens space for healthier connections and allows you to focus on the people who truly value and respect you. Consider this analogy. If you're carrying a backpack full of rocks, toxic relationships, you'll struggle to move forward. But when you lighten the load, you find freedom to explore new paths with ease. Think about a time when you felt drained by a particular relationship. What would have changed if you had distanced yourself sooner? By reflecting on these experiences, you can recognize patterns and avoid similar situations in the future. This week, take inventory of the people in your life. Ask yourself, does this person bring positivity or negativity into my life? Do I feel supported and respected in this relationship? Is maintaining this connection helping or hindering my growth? If you identify a relationship that feels toxic, consider the steps you can take to create distance. Whether it's setting boundaries or gradually reducing contact, even small actions can make a big difference. Letting go of toxic relationships isn't easy, but it's one of the most empowering decisions you can make. You deserve to be surrounded by people who uplift you, respect your boundaries, and celebrate your growth. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Surround yourself with relationships that color your life in positivity and watch as your inner peace and happiness flourish. Ask yourself, what relationships are holding you back, and how can you take a step toward freedom today? 12. Don't be afraid to fail. Embrace failure as a stepping stone. Failure, just the word itself, can evoke fear and discomfort. Many of us dread it so much that we avoid taking risks or trying new things altogether. But here's the truth. Failure is not the end. It's a beginning. It's not a measure of your worth, but a sign that you're pushing your limits and growing. The Stoic philosopher Seneca said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." Every failure is an opportunity to learn, adapt, and come back stronger. By reframing how we see failure, we can transform it into a powerful catalyst for success. Fear of failure often stems from the desire to appear competent or perfect. Society glorifies success and tends to hide the struggles behind it, creating a false narrative that success comes easily to others. For example, you might hesitate to start a business because you fear it might fail, leaving you embarrassed or financially strained. You might avoid pursuing a passion project because you worry it won't meet others' expectations. You might not take on a leadership role because you doubt your ability to succeed. These fears are natural, but they are also limiting. By avoiding failure, you also avoid growth, creativity, and the chance to achieve something extraordinary. Failure is often the best teacher. When you fail, you gain insights that success alone cannot provide. Clarity. Failure forces you to reevaluate your strategies and refine your approach. Resilience. Each setback builds mental toughness, teaching you how to persevere in the face of adversity. Innovation. Many breakthroughs are born from failed attempts. Failure encourages you to think outside the box and find creative solutions. Consider Thomas Edison, who famously said about his invention of the light bulb, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." His ability to embrace failure led to one of the greatest innovations in history. Changing your perspective on failure takes practice, but it's worth the effort. Here's how to get started. 1. See failure as feedback. Instead of viewing failure as a dead end, treat it as information. Ask yourself, what worked? What didn't? What can I improve? 2. Separate failure from identity. Failing at something doesn't mean you are a failure. It's a single event, not a reflection of your entire self-worth. 3. Celebrate effort. Acknowledge the courage it took to try, even if the outcome wasn't what you hoped for. Taking risks is an achievement in itself. 4. Learn and adapt. Identify the lessons from your failure and apply them moving forward. This is how you turn setbacks into stepping stones. Consider J.K. Rowling, the author of the Harry Potter series. Before her books became a global phenomenon, Rowling faced numerous rejections from publishers. She was a single mother living on welfare, struggling to make ends meet. But instead of giving up, she persisted. Each rejection taught her resilience and fueled her determination. Today, her story is a testament to the power of embracing failure as part of the journey to success. The best way to overcome the fear of failure is to take action. Start small and gradually build your confidence. If you're nervous about public speaking, begin by speaking in front of a small, supportive group. If you're hesitant to launch a project, create a small prototype or pilot version first. If you've experienced failure in the past, revisit that situation and identify one lesson you can apply to your next attempt. Each step forward, no matter how small, helps you build the momentum and courage to face bigger challenges. Think about a time when you felt you failed, write down the experience in detail, then reflect on what it taught you. Ask yourself, what did I learn from this? How has it shaped me into a stronger or wiser person? What will I do differently next time? This exercise can help you see failure in a new light, as a necessary part of growth rather than a source of shame. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's a crucial part of it. Every successful person has a story of setbacks and challenges that shaped their journey. As Seneca reminds us, the bravest sight in the world is to see a great man struggling against adversity. Each time you face failure with courage and determination, you come closer to achieving your full potential. So, the next time fear of failure tries to stop you, ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen? And what could I gain by trying? Then take that leap of faith, knowing that failure is just another step toward the life you deserve. As we stand on the threshold of a new year, the desire for transformation becomes more urgent. The habits and mindsets we carry from the past may have served us once, but they could now be the very things holding us back. To be reborn in 2025 is not just about discarding old patterns, it's about embracing a renewed sense of purpose, clarity, and strength. Through this journey, you've explored 12 powerful shifts, from letting go of perfectionism and procrastination to embracing change and redefining failure. Each habit you release creates space for growth, while every new mindset you adopt brings you closer to becoming the person you aspire to be. Take a moment to reflect on these lessons. Have you started to challenge the need for external validation? Are you focusing on your unique journey rather than comparing yourself to others? Have you identified toxic relationships that need boundaries or closure? Are you ready to embrace failure as a teacher rather than a threat? These are not just steps on a checklist, they are commitments to living with intention, courage, and authenticity. Transformation begins with a clear vision of who you want to become. Ask yourself, what kind of life do I want to create in 2025? What values will guide my decisions? What habits or mindsets do I need to cultivate to align with this vision? Write these answers down and revisit them often. They will serve as your compass when you face moments of doubt or difficulty. Reflection is only the first step. True transformation happens through consistent action. Whether it's setting boundaries, starting a new project, or simply showing up with more intention each day, your progress is built on small, deliberate steps. Remember, change doesn't have to be monumental to be meaningful. The smallest actions, repeated over time, create the foundation for lasting growth. In the coming weeks, challenge yourself to adopt one new mindset or habit from this list. Maybe it's letting go of procrastination by tackling small tasks daily, or reframing failure by journaling what you've learned from setbacks. Commit to practicing this habit consistently for 30 days. Notice how it begins to shift your perspective and open doors you once thought were closed. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Every challenge you face, every habit you break, and every mindset you shift is a step toward your rebirth. In 2025, you have the opportunity to let go of what no longer serves you and embrace the limitless potential of who you can become. You don't need to wait for a perfect moment or ideal conditions. The time to act is now. Rebirth is not a destination. It's a journey of continual growth and discovery. As you step into this new chapter, remember that you hold the power to shape your life. With each action you take, you're not just changing your habits, you're transforming your future. So ask yourself, what am I ready to let go of? What am I ready to embrace? And what will I create in the year ahead? Your 2025 begins today. Make it a year of courage, clarity, and transformation. You have everything you need to begin. Now it's time to take the first step.